The sailor weighed 230 pounds. 6 years in the Navy had hardened his habits, sharpened his impatience. He stepped forward in line and nudged the man ahead of him. No glance, no second thought, just a push, casual, routine. 6 seconds later, everything changed. Not because fists flew, not because voices rose, but because of what unfolded in the quiet, electric span after his hand touched Muhammad Ali's shoulder. February 23, 1972, Pensacola, Florida. Naval Air Station Pensacola moved with military precision. Morning drills, rotations, the noon rush at the mess hall, clockwork efficiency colliding with human hunger. Lines stretched, trays clattered, time mattered. Ali was there that day, 30 years old, 8 months into a comeback carved from exile, still chasing destiny, still orbiting a rematch with Joe Frazier that would echo through boxing history. His relationship with the military had always been layered, complex. He had refused induction, yes, but he never confused policy with people. Soldiers, in his eyes, were not decisions, they were human beings. That morning he met commanders, spoke with trainees, shared time in the gym. Then, by chance, or perhaps instinct, he drifted away from the formalities. Lunch hour arrived. Instead of the officers' dining area, Ali chose the enlisted mess. No entourage, no spotlight, civilian clothes, tray in hand, just another man in line. Except he wasn't. 42 sailors stood there, none expecting the heavyweight champion of the world to be between them and their meal. Petty Officer, Second Class, Raymond Decker. 26 years old, 6 years deep in service, a weapons systems technician. He carried that familiar blend, discipline laced with impatience. Hunger sharpened everything. The line crawled. The man ahead, tall, broad, unhurried, moved like time didn't matter. To Decker, that was enough. A hand on the shoulder, a push, not cruel, not angry, just efficient. Move. 6 seconds. Witnesses would later recount those 6 seconds, not once, not twice, but for decades. 11 accounts, different angles, same sequence. Ali turned, slowly, economically, no wasted motion, the kind of movement carved by 2 decades of mastery. Then he looked. Not a glance, a gaze. 3 seconds of it. Enough to quiet conversations, enough to bend the room into stillness, enough to make something shift, something unseen but undeniable. Then recognition struck. Hard, immediate, absolute. The man in front of Decker wasn't a civilian, not staff, not visitor. It was Muhammad Ali. Color drained from Decker's face. Witnesses would later call it the most dramatic transformation they had ever seen without a single blow. Ali saw it happen. His expression changed, not anger, not amusement, something subtler, something measured, the look of a man who had already decided how this story would unfold. Then he smiled. The moment. "You know," Ali said, voice calm, carrying just far enough, "most people at least look at who they're pushing first. No venom, no edge, just clarity." Decker froze. Words collided in his mind, recognition, embarrassment, consequence. "Mr. Ali," he managed, voice unsteady. I didn't know. I'm sorry." Ali studied him for a beat. "I know you didn't," he said gently. "That's why I'm smiling and not crying."
The room erupted. Real laughter, not forced, not polite, release breaking loose at all once. Decker laughed too, half shock, half salvation. Ali reached out, rested his hand on the same shoulder that had pushed him moments before. "Come eat with me."
40 minutes. They sat together. 40 minutes. Not the public Ali, not the poet, not the showman. A quieter version. He asked questions about Decker's work, his family, his future. He spoke of training, of returning after absence, of the looming fight with Fraser. 2 men, 1 table. For those 40 minutes, fame stepped aside. Aftermath. The base commander heard about it. Word traveled fast in places like that. He approached Ali, prepared to apologize. Ali stopped him. "The sailor didn't know who I was. He apologized. We ate lunch." A pause. "What's there to apologize for?" The commander hesitated. 30 years of service hadn't prepared him for that answer. "Most people," he said carefully, "would expect something different." Ali smiled. "Most people aren't me." Not arrogance, just truth. A philosophy in motion. What someone does when they don't know you, that's the real measure. Ignorance explains mistakes. Understanding resolves them. Decker pushed. He realized. He apologized. Ali accepted. Simple, clean, complete. Years later. When Decker was asked what he remembered most, he didn't hesitate. "The smile," he said. "I thought I was in trouble, and then he smiled, and I knew I wasn't." A pause. "I've been trying to be that clear ever since." At first glance, it looks like a simple moment. A man gets pushed in a line, he turns, he responds calmly, end of story. But it isn't that simple. What happened there touches something deeper, something most people miss. 1. Who you are when no one knows you. Even Muhammad Ali, one of the most recognizable faces on earth, stood in that line as a stranger. No spotlight, no fame, no identity attached. And in that moment, he was treated like anyone else. That's rare for someone at his level. But here's the key. He didn't react as Muhammad Ali the legend. He reacted as a man. Calm, grounded, in control. That's the difference between status and character. 2. Power without reaction. Most people, when disrespected, react instantly. Ego jumps in. Emotion takes over. But real strength doesn't rush. Ali had every reason to respond differently. He was pushed. He was disrespected, even if unintentionally. He held power in that situation. Yet he chose restraint. That choice, that pause, that control, that's real power. 3. Understanding before judgment. Ali understood something most people don't. The sailor didn't know who he was. And that changes everything. Instead of assuming disrespect, he assumed ignorance. Instead of punishing, he corrected. A simple shift from "he disrespected me" to "he didn't know." That one mental adjustment prevented conflict. 4. Turning a mistake into a moment. Most situations like this end badly. Tension rises, words escalate, ego wins. But Ali flipped it. He used humor, he used presence, he used grace. And suddenly, a mistake became a lesson. A stranger became a companion. A tense moment became a story told for decades. 5. The smile that changed everything.
That smile wasn't just kindness. It was communication. It said, "You're not in danger. I understand. This ends here." In half a second, it did what anger never could. That's why the sailor remembered it for the rest of his life. 6. The real lesson. Something deeper isn't about fame. It isn't about boxing. It's about this: how you respond when you don't have to prove anything. That's where character shows. That's where respect is built. That's where people never forget you. In one line, strength is not in how hard you hit. It's in how calmly you choose not to.
Then Ali did something even more unexpected. He placed his hand on the same shoulder that had pushed him and said, "Come eat with me." Just like that. No lecture, no humiliation, no power play. An invitation. They sat together for 40 minutes, and what happened there wasn't what you'd expect. No showmanship, no poetry, no performance, just conversation. Ali asked about his life, his work, his family. He spoke about his own journey, his comeback, his struggles. 2 men, 1 table. And for those 40 minutes, there was no fame, no titles, just respect. Later, the base commander approached Ali, ready to apologize because that's what protocol demands. But Ali stopped him. "The sailor didn't know who I was," he said. "He apologized. We ate lunch." Then he asked one simple question: "What's there to apologize for?" That answer stayed with everyone who heard it. 'Cause what Ali understood, most people don't. He knew this. People act differently when they don't know who you are. And that's the real test. Not how they treat your title, but how they treat your presence. The sailor made a mistake, but it came from ignorance, not disrespect. And Ali chose to respond with understanding, not ego. Years later, when Decker was asked what he remembered most, he didn't talk about the push. He didn't talk about the fear. He said one thing: the smile. He turned around. "I thought I was in trouble." And then he smiled, and I knew I wasn't. That moment changed him, because in just a few seconds, Ali showed something rare. Not strength through power, but strength through control. Anyone can react. Anyone can get angry. Anyone can prove a point. But very few people can choose calm when they have every reason not to. That's what made Muhammad Ali different. Not just the punches, not just the victories, but moments like this. Quiet, simple, human, and unforgettable. If this story made you think differently about strength and respect, hit like, share it with someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe for more real stories that stay with you long after they end.